Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to ChiefsBlitz.com YouTube podcast with your hosts, Nick Athen, Andre Tillman, and producer Hence Todd. They'll break down the three-time Super Bowl champions as only they can do. Here's your host, Nick Athen.
Welcome back to another edition of Chiefs Blitz. I am your host, Nick Athen, with Hence Todd, our producer extraordinaire, Lou Mataga, and Dr. Dre, Andre Tillman, who's going to be eating a little crow today. But we'll get on that topic here in a few minutes. But huge win for the Kansas City Chiefs, 41-10. This defense is terrific. The Taylor Swift stuff was a nice distraction. And the party into the evening, I hear, was pretty epic. So, with that said, welcome, gents. It's glad to have you on the show.
Okay, I'm glad to be back. It was a nice Sunday. Watching the Broncos get beat down and watching the Raiders, make meltdown, and watching the Chargers almost got the Chargers beat off of them. You know what I mean? But if Kirk Cousins can just throw the ball to there. They all were lost, but the Chiefs.
They tried to charge her. They really did.
Yeah. I also, watching the. Also, what I got kicked out of Sunday is watching the Cardinals beat on the Cowboys. So there was
most definitely.
Watching Lil Bill get down. But other than that,
you will not disrespect the best quarterback in the league so far, sir.
No, we're not going to disrespect the Cardinals today. They won. They beat a good team. They manned up. They played probably the best game they're going to play all year. They can learn something. They can learn something. They can learn. No. I mean, seriously, from start to finish, first snap to last snap, they were the best team on the field.
Can you imagine
snap.
just how they just manhandled the Dallas Cowboy front four? Michael Parsons only got one sack, and that was a give me sack.
And he was offsides.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. So
speaking of that, man, what do y'all guys think about the game yesterday? Nick?
Well, I think for me, I wrote this in my article this morning. I think that was the best start to finish performance that Patrick Mahomes has had outside of the first drive. And honestly, Rasheed Rice catches that pass. If he continues his route, that's probably a split the D-back touchdown. I thought he was terrific. He spread the ball to 11 different receivers, played basically 2.5 quarters. My biggest beef with Patrick Mahomes has always been I've never seen him play a 4-quarter game. Now, I've seen him play a 3-quarter game against the Raiders at home when they were stomping the logo on the field, where they took him out in the fourth quarter. But I thought this was one of Patrick's better games. I think defensively, they're just playing at a level that, I joked about them being the 85 Bears this morning in my article. But, I mean, they're just playing at a level I didn't expect. In special teams, it looks like they've got themselves a return guy and a punt return guy, and he's a huge step up from what they had before. And I just think all three levels, this is what you do to bad teams, but the Bears are really, really bad, and the Chiefs probably could have put 50 or 60 up on them, based on some officiating and a couple of missed opportunities. But overall, this is the way the Chiefs should be playing week in and week out.
And speaking of the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, what you think about his performance of reaching that milestone of his this Sunday, Nick?
I mean, 25,000 passing yards in 83 NFL games. Think about that. I can't do this I can't do the division. I'm not that smart with numbers. But the fact that he did it ahead of Marino in an era in which, quite honestly, there's a difference between the two eras. But for Patrick to do it with basically Tyreek and Travis versus what Marino did when he had, Clayton and all those guys were just efficiently great at catching the ball. Those are clearly, I think, two of the better guys that have reached this milestone. But for Patrick to do it in a short period of time, And then his comment after the game, well, I hope 50,000 happens faster. I mean, you just can't be. It can't be any greater for that right now if you're a Chiefs fan.
Right.
As long as he's healthy, these milestones are just going to keep coming, and he's going to do it faster than most other guys. I think Stafford, it took him 90 games. Marino was right there too. And to Nick's point, the Marx brothers. I mean, that was a whole different era. The rules were different, but the bottom line is Patrick's doing it a little bit quicker. And whether it's touchdowns, yardage, completion, whatever you want to say, the milestone, he's going to hit it faster than anyone else in history. And again, we're here for it. It's a great time to be alive, great time to be a Chiefs fan, and just enjoy it. He's just a different dude. I mean, the interview they did with him and Jeter was such a full circle thing, and it's almost like they're the same guy. They're never satisfied, always looking to get better. You can't win enough, and here he is, and we have him, and it's just tremendous.
I think it's a big deal. I think it's a great situation to have. You know what I mean? Because we got the best quarterback in the league. You know what I mean? They got one quarterback over there with the Tony Tiger team. Since he got his money, he don't want to play well. He don't want to play anymore. But other than that, we got our quarterback Patrick Mahomes is putting up these massive numbers, and it's nothing but greatness. It's greatness to have. It's excitement to have to be a Chiefs fan. It's excitement to also to witness this history, and to make it, and watching them just come out here and destroy the league by inch by inch. What you got to say about that, Coach Dre?
I'm not worrying about your comment about the Tiger. He already beat Patrick Mahomes. He already ended that little streak. But as far as him breaking records, I mean, Mahomes earned it. Like he's him. Mahomes is him, right? So, man, all due respect.
Who is him, sir? Who is him?
Who is who?
Who is him?
You know who he is, sir. Because who he is, who should have been is Joe Burrow.
Stop,
but Patrick Mahomes is playing at an all-time high level. He learned how to check the ball down. He learned how to really spread the ball around. Because you remember them games he did lose to Joe Burrow, he was more trying to please Tyreek Hill. Right? So now he understands what championship football is. So as you can see, 25,000 yards. 25,000? I believe 25,000, 25K.
Yeah.
Nothing but respect for Patrick Mahomes. Nothing but respect.
I want to piggyback on something you just said. His reliance and the fact that he was trying to feed the ball to Tyreek Hill in those situations at times backfired, other times it's successful. And I think what was interesting yesterday was I kind of saw Patrick starting to do the same thing with Kelsey.
Yeah.
And then he realized I got to spread the ball out. So he had a quick turnaround from, I think, his initial intent, even though Kelsey was open a lot. Right. But to be able to spread the ball out like he did yesterday was just impressive. And for all those guys to make those catches when on any given play, anybody can be involved at the other end of a pass.
Nick, Swifty was in the house. He wanted to make sure Travis had a big game. Come on, man.
I get it.
You saw her in the booth or in the box. We'll see a video of it soon, but wow. Come on now.
Yeah, well, the fact that Taylor Swift was there was really pretty funny. It was pretty great. It's great exposure. You got the number one pop star in the world and the number one quarterback on the world. And Travis Kelce's the main story. I love it. It just doesn't get any better than that. The internet blew up today like crazy. It was hilarious. It was hilarious to see. I mean, I got to give props to the guy. For me personally, I did date a former TV star in my 20s. So I'm not going to drop any names.
Come on, we
have to now. You can't just throw that out there.
I will only say this out of respect.
Come on, Nick.
I will give you the TV show, and then you guys are going to have to figure it out from there. So it was an actress on the Facts of Life back in the 80s. So
okay, these guys aren't going to have any idea.
It's time they grow up.
Absolutely not.
It's time they grow up and understand there was television in the 80s.
I can't remember their names, but was she blonde or brunette?
She was definitely blonde.
Okay. Was her name Blair on the show?
No, it wasn't Blair.
Not Blair. No, I don't remember the names. I think I got you.
You'll figure it out. It's not too hard to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm stumped. I'm stumped, Nick. I'm stumped on that one, Nick. You got me.
But what you think about Nick? What you think about Andy Reid talking about he set them up?
Oh my God!
What you think?
Was that not the best line ever? I mean, I love Andy, especially
Coach
after
Reid
winning.
is next level.
He has got a sense of humor that and you see that in the new State Farm commercial. That's pretty good stuff. And I know this is a lot of Andy's character in the behind the scenes, but he's a lot more lately because he's been successful winning a couple Super Bowls. He's definitely lightened up some. But man, I love that comment. And you know what? That went viral so fast, and probably half the Swift people are going, "Did he really? Did he really?"
I don't know. Some of the Swifties get triggered really fast. Like, he's not good enough for her. Everything else. I've got my daughter is a big time Swiftie. She's, I don't know, 24 years old, but every time it comes up, it's like, oh, no. So yesterday she had to eat her crow, much like Dre did. But yesterday, sitting there watching the game with me, pretty much just to see the Taylor Swift cam that they had going on.
Oh my God. I didn't know what a Swiftie was until yesterday. That's how I am.
All right. Well, I probably wouldn't have unless my daughter was like,
gotcha.
She's all about Taylor. Yeah,
gotcha.
And speaking of Taylor Swift, man, I think I think that'd be a good matchup. I think they have probably the same personality because watching her and looking at her personality, she's kind of goofy, and Travis is kind of goofy on his shows on podcasts. So I think they probably match together. And a lot of people just the Swiftie fans out there saying that he's bad for her. He's this. He don't deserve her. Hey, hold on, guys. This is a Hall of Famer.
They're so protective
that we're talking about.
So
this is a Hall of Famer with two Super Bowl rings. Good ball. He got his own money. He don't need her money. You know what I mean? So, in end of the day, and like the NFL, it was not just the Chiefs fans coming at this week. The Swift Taylor fans, Taylor Swift fans on the internet. I seen the whole NFL world was coming out the Swift fans.
Listen, guys. That's now, y'all hyping up Travis Kelce's situation, but look at Russell Wilson and Sierra. Now you see how the bash is different. It's the good bash. Now when Travis Kelce do it, it's a great bash, good bash and a great bash. But let me give you some stats real quick. Let me get you some stats real quick. Kelce was targeted 8 times, right? He was the most targeted guy out there, right? Because of Swift. Because of Swift was out there.
He's always the most targeted guy out there.
He was 8 for 7 though. He was 8 for 7 though. Mahomes said he's a little frustrated right now because he didn't want to let Swift down. Right?
He got him the touchdown.
Right?
He got him the touchdown at the end.
Yeah, he had no choice because Swift wasn't having that. Swift wasn't having that now. But
he was wide open too. So
yeah, he was.
That helps. I mean, you probably could have made that throw, Andre. I'll give you credit for that.
Yeah, I could have. Depends. But you know what? Rasheed Rice was targeted 7 times as well. He was targeted. Kelce 8. Rasheed was targeted 7 times, and he called it 7 for 5 for 59 yards. So, Rasheed Rice is coming into his own. He looked good. Moore looked good. 6 for 4. Watson 3 for 2. So. As we stated, Mahomes learned how to pass the ball. He learned how to spread the ball around. So that was something that Mahomes continued to do from last year, and I'm very impressed with that. But at the end of the day, championship football is based on team. So me looking at the stats right now, I'm so impressed with Mahomes. And again, he earned.
Sir, we talking about Taylor Swift.
We're not talking about Swift. She had her time, bro. She's a pop singer.
He's trying to circle back. I give him props for that.
How much attention do she need? You hear me? Dang, we talking about Kelce. We talking about Chiefs football.
The guy shot his shot, and she showed up. I mean, come on.
Hey, he did. Yeah. Hey, he did.
Hey, look what Belichick said. That's the best catch of his career. Come on, you got to give him his props.
Man,
He's
just Uncle Bill with the line of the day.
He's just a humble kid from Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Come on,
second fiddle to his big brother.
But seriously, how about the small talk in the booth? You're sitting next to the guy's mom for 3 hours, and this probably the first time they met. I mean, how does that go? Have you guys ever dated someone and like the first time brought her home to meet your mom?
Yeah, my wife.
My
you
wife
guys
too.
are good. Wow. Hey, respect.
No, mine
respect.
Too. Yeah, definitely. That's for a long podcast.
Good for you.
It was great. It was great though. But here's the thing, I kidding aside, and it's really none of our business what kind of relationship they have or they don't have. But I will say this as your point. She's sitting next to mama. She's engaged in the game.
Yeah.
She's just being a true fan, even though I hear she was an Eagles fan prior to this. And then you invite the entire team and a bunch of staff, and you take out Patron Restaurant and you close the place down and you party till 2:00 in the morning. Now, that's not a normal first date. So everybody needs to understand that this probably was a little bit more serious from the time whenever they started. But I will say this: Travis Kelce, despite the Taylor Swift attraction, relationship, fandom, whatever comes with it, on the football field and in practice, he's going to be focused on one thing:
all business,
another ring.
All business.
So whether they're coming,
she's the same another thing. Ring, the other ring.
Well, who knows?
Man, come on now. If we do that, it's going to be it's going to be a big story. There's going to be a divorce by the end of the year. No ring for Taylor Swift right now.
That'll just make him more focused. Sir. That'll take him more focused on the
field. She's got another album to write, man. So it's not going to end well. But
he can get a part of the album, man.
But he's got to ride that wave while it's going, and God bless them both.
I think she has a place in New York, and they are going to New York this weekend. So maybe they get back-to-back weekends. Who knows? But listen, it was a good publicity for the Chiefs. Fox loved it. I don't know if you watched the Fox pregame, but they did a segment with this guy trying to figure out if they were dating, which was absolutely hysterical. Howie Long was in on, and Terry Bradshaw. It's out there somewhere in the Twitter universe, but it was crazy. But listen, I mean, it's great to have a celebrity like that. It was a good experience for the fans. It was a perfect day, perfect win, and there are a lot of reasons that the Chiefs won. But the Taylor Swift thing was just kind of like, oh, she's really there. Oh, they must really be in a relationship. Oh man, they got great PR people because they've kept this thing basically a secret. And then everybody else has, except for, Travis's brother, Jason, who spilt the beans last week. So, listen, it was a fun distraction. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs won this football game primarily too, not because of the offense, but their defense. I mean, it is playing lights out.
Now, before we get off the subject,
I
wonder how do Patrick Mahomes feel that it was a bigger star than him in the stadium?
I think it was a relief.
It was a bigger person that the camera was more focused on her. I was like, dang man, I'm tired of I understand what they got going on, but I'm trying to watch the game. I don't care what they got going on.
But, all right, guys, Dre's about to explode here. Hey. We got to get back to football.
We got to, because the whole show is based on Swift now. I'm like, what with TMZ?
No.
But you know what?
I'd like to have their subscribers.
Hey, well, and nothing wrong with that. I will be quiet when it comes to that. I'll tell you that.
Speaking of the rest of the show, what do y'all think about Andy Reid's accomplishments, Dre? Let's think about his accomplishments yesterday.
Andy Reid.
Yeah, what you think about it? It was the fourth. He was the fourth.
He's number 4 in all-time wins, playoffs, and regular season.
Well, listen, guys. Before we get to that part, I was trying to break down the defense of the Chiefs, sir. But Swift took over. We took over with Swift. There go my stats. Nah, but I think Andy Reid is phenomenal. Like he earned it. Andy Reid earned it. Andy Reid, he earned every accolade that's coming towards him because he take weak. Well, like I'm not gonna say weak because it sounds disrespectful. The way Andy Reid does with these quarterbacks, he turned them guys into legit not superstars, but stars. Legit respected quarterbacks, I would say. He turned the guys into respectable quarterbacks and they played fairly well. Just like a Michael Vick. Michael Vick was all legs. Then when he went under Andy Reid, he became one of the most respected quarterbacks in the NFL as an Eagle. Look at Cobb. Look what Andy Reid did with Cobb. So for me, I think Andy Reid deserves all the accolades, man. The man's phenomenal. Big respect to Andy Reid.
Well, he's a winner. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
I
a
think
winner.
he's the only coach that's won over 100 games with two different organizations.
Franchises, absolutely.
I mean, obviously his work he did with Favre and Green Bay under Holmgren. When he goes to Philadelphia, McNabb, Vic. I mean, anybody. You mentioned Kevin Cobb. I mean,
Kevin Cobb,
that's
yes.
that. If you had Kevin Cobb on your bingo card, you're
Yeah,
a winner
really.
today. But then Alex Smith, again, I mean, not that they were over the top great, but they were relevant. They were in playoff games. They probably should have won a couple of those, but whatever. And now he gets the crown jewel, and now he really has flourished, and he's gonna, as long as he keeps coaching, he's gonna continue to move up this list. And quite frankly, and again, this might be sacrilegious to people in the Northeast, but I think we're approaching the ground where we can say that maybe this guy is a better coach than the hoodie.
Well, I want to let's dive into that for a second. I think Belichick is and continues to be a defensive mastermind, and
No question.
his roster building, despite having quote unquote general managers above him, was, I think, during the Tom Brady era, second to none. I think the combination of an opportunistic defense and a above average offense at times. Sometimes the Patriots offense was elite, when they were flashing, going undefeated and they lost in the Super Bowl. That was probably that season one of the best offenses, probably matching the greatest show on turf in St. Louis. But, he had the benefit of being a defensive mind who had a great and Hall of Fame quarterback who is now considered the GOAT and should be. I don't know if anybody's going to surpass the Super Bowl numbers, but with Mahomes, he's had to do a lot of this based on one thing: himself and his offense, not his defense. He has not had a defense to rely on until the second half of last year and this season in his career in Kansas City. So can Andy catch Belichick? I don't think there's any question that, he's gonna get close. That's a 5-year commitment. And that 5-year commitment, is getting Mahomes into his 30s. But, Belichick is still the greatest coach for what he has endured. But he's been very fortunate to do with one team when Andy's done with two. Look what he did with Alex Smith. I mean, I'd even go as far as saying, look what he did with Chad Henne. I mean, he just he understands how to develop quarterbacks. But right now he's got, once in a lifetime. There'll never be, probably in my this stage of my generations, a quarterback that comes across like this and sets the world on fire like he has, because the Jeter thing was a good point. They understand it. They are built the same way. Jeter won 5 out of 7 World Series titles in his first 7 years.
Well, Dan Marino came into the league in the '80s and shocked the world too. Dan
Marino he did,
and brought a new element to the quarterback. Like he bought that gunslinging, high pace, fast,
right.
But he bought that. He the one that brought that type of style to the league, and it feels good that Mahomes can take that and really push in there. Like really, like for a better example, look at Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Jordan, we know what Jordan can do with the fadeaways and all this other stuff, right? Flying around, right? Kobe took that and elevated his style, right? So if you look at Patrick Mahomes and Dan Marino, basically what you can say is this: Mahomes just elevated what Dan Marino is, what Dan Marino was, in a sense, right? But again, to Coach Reid though. Coach Reid just knows how to develop quarterbacks. He just like I don't understand how this man does it, but he does it. It's amazing. But again, you got to give it the Coach Reid. But Nick, I'm gonna piggyback off what you just said when it comes to Belichick. Belichick to me is still the greatest head coach to do it because until Mahomes reached the level of Super Bowl rings as Tom Brady, he won't ever be like passed like Belichick. You know what I'm saying? Like Andy Reid won't ever pass Belichick until he get like if he like this year, if they win this year, then you put them in the conversation. Okay, dynasty, cool. I get that. Now we can try elevating. But other than that, nah, Belichick's still number one. But Andy Reid right behind him.
I agree. Real quick, I think 3 of the 7 Super Bowls that Tom Brady won were all based on were the defense completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, maybe 4.
Absolutely.
But
maybe all.
Well, no, you got to give Tom credit. I mean, he made some incredible plays and incredible throws. But
yeah,
you know,
the Atlanta game alone.
Oh man, I remember Carolina. Look at Carolina game. Tom Brady set
I
them
think
up.
most of their Super Bowls were really close. And he made play. I mean, even in the first one where he really didn't do much the whole game, but he got him down there for that field goal. Yeah. And he was very inexperienced dude. So yeah, I mean, props. I guess not that. I guess if we're going to count championships, obviously Reid's going to have a difficult time catching him. Maybe not. Patrick, I'm pretty sure, is focused on 7. I think that's his career.
No. You're wrong. He's focused on 8.
Well, 7 at least. Okay.
No. That the only number Patrick Mahomes cares about is getting number 8. That's it. I think he will consider somewhere in the darkest part of his mind when he's about 55 or 60. He goes, God dang it, I didn't win 8. I only won 7.
Right. Okay. But anyway, in terms of Reid, he'd done it with a couple different organizations. Maybe that Browns team was heading in the right direction when Belichick was there before Modell sold the team. They moved the ball they become the rate, whatever. That was a whole mess. But I guess since Brady has left, that's something that's starting to kind of creep in. Now, again, it's not going to tarnish his legacy. I don't think so. But I think where I would give Andy a little bit more props is that, again, he's been able to do it at every stop. And I don't know that so much that, yes, he develops the quarterbacks, but I think he also takes the strengths of each guy and incorporates that into that West Coast system because it's nothing like it looked like in the 80s when Montana was running it or Favre was running in Green Bay, but he tweaks it. Again, he plays to the strength of his guy and they get it done. So again, let's see what happens over these next few years as long as Belichick sticks around, but it has been a little bit of a struggle since Tom left.
Yeah.
And speaking of sticking around, do y'all think this defense is sticking around? Being banned in the top defense, the top 5 defense in the league. I thought they was gonna come in to be like a top 10 defense, but they are looking top 5-ish, or one of the top defense of the league. So what you think about that, Coach Dre?
Thank you, Bowtie. Oh my God, that Taylor Swift stuff was like out of hand. But shout out to Travis Kelce though. Travis Kelce, it was a great catch. Now Chris Jones again had 1 sack. Mike Donald 3 solo tackles and a sack. Malik had 2 tackles. Man, Joshua Williams, guys, had 2 tackles for 1 pass deflection. 1 pass deflection, guys.
There's only one on his side of the field for 1 time. So
that kid's pretty good.
Yeah, they threw a sprinkle on him. They threw a little seasoning on him. I said, no, let's throw it to his side. They said, oh, he made a play. Good job, Joshua Williams. Anyway, looking at this defense, I'm very, very impressed, especially with Mike Donald. Mike Donald come out of nowhere for me. Dana. He came out there from week 1 and posed his will. The man's phenomenal. He's only gonna get better, and let's not forget about the rookie on the other side, George. Man, he's coming. It's coming to his own. But again, I feel like Kansas City's better than what they was last year. The front four look legit. If the front four look good, then the back end gonna look sweet. So I'm very impressed with Kansas City right now. How physical they are. They playing physical man to man. They getting pressure up front. Yeah, I'm with it.
What you think about it, Nick?
Yeah, I agree too. Mike Dana. You guys heard me. I didn't think he'd make the final roster when we were talking about a roster breakdown. I've been shocked because for me, the loss of Frank Clark, I thought was going to be big, not just because he understood the defense. He would make enough plays during a single game, and then in the postseason, he was just a monster. But Mike Dana's on pace to surpass any of those numbers that Frank Clark put up with the last 2 years. And by replacing him with somebody younger and someone who can do a bull rush, Mike Dana, he looks like a nose tackle out there at times, mauling over offensive linemen. And when he gets a chance at a running back or a tight end, he takes care of business, and he may not get the sack, but he's creating, a collapse in the pocket where other guys can come in and make plays. So he has been terrific. I've been really impressed with him. You mentioned Karlaftis. Maybe the sack numbers quite aren't there yet, but he's close. He's in the right position. He would have had a safety. He wasn't held on that first sequence of plays by the Bears in the game. And then the secondary, they're just playing at a level. Even Justin Reid, we've we think he's the weak link in the defense. He played well. Cook played great. Williams played great. McDuffie, to me, the Chiefs defense being able to collapse the pocket, go for the strip balls, play tight man-to-man coverage, do things and be aggressive. The backups were in the third and fourth quarter, and they're still blitzing the quarterback. Spags is still going after these guys. And I love the new mentality. And if it continues, there's no question it'll be the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has ever had. It could go down as one of the best defenses the Chiefs have ever had. And that's saying something when you had, Derek Thomas and Neil Smith on the field with Dan Saleamua and a terrific secondary back then. So, listen, they have a chance. They're young. This is the youngest defense in the National Football League. I think they're 23 and a half or 24 years of age on average. They've got a bunch of young kids. They've got a couple of wily veterans. And if they don't read their press clippings and they stay focused, definitely top 5. I had them at maybe 12 or 13, and I would have been happy with that to begin the season. But now I'm being greedy. If they can be top 5, this defense, this football team's not going to lose too many games through the end of February.
They just got to hone in on who they are. But like you said, Nick, don't read the media. Don't read the clippings, man. Stay focused. Stay true to what you need to do. Just go out there and just do your job. You know what I'm saying? Just execute your job. I love the way they playing. They playing an aggressive style football on defensive side. They blitz and playing man to man a little bit, and they're letting Chris Jones eat. Which is very important. So again, I can't say nothing bad about Kansas City's defense besides Williams. But again, I feel like the way they play right now, I feel like Williams is gonna get his just due real soon. Same thing with Justin Ross. Like, we gotta have faith in Justin Ross. We gotta have faith in Williams too. I believe by week 9, we should see the coming of Joshua Williams. I don't know about shutdown, but I feel like he'll get more PT time. He get more playing time by week 9. I believe that.
Well, to your point of George and Mike Dana, they both are relentless. They're just relentless.
Absolutely.
Dana may not have this skills as a pass rusher, but he's got the want to. He doesn't quit. George is very much the same way. And you know what you have in Chris Jones. To me, I think we talked about this right before we started, was it's speed at every level. That's the difference between this defense and any defense that Patrick has had. You're talking on the defensive line, the linebacker speed is just like nothing I've seen. I've been watching the Chiefs for, like over 50 years. Okay. This might be some of the fastest linebackers that I've seen to date. The back end, they've hit on a bunch of mid to late round picks. We haven't even seen Nick Jones yet. I don't know if the kid can play or not, but Shamari Connor from Virginia Tech, coming in. I mean, he's getting his rotations. Brian Cook from last year from Cincinnati. You know how I feel about Joshua Williams, Justin Watson, McDuffie. I mean, these guys are all really, really good players. They're all young and hungry. But I do want to mention one guy this past week, and also all three games, is a guy they signed in free agency from the Chargers as Drew Tranquil.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Good.
I mean, it's his third game in the organization, and they gave him the green dot when Bolton was out. And he did an amazing job with it. And he's not known as a Mike linebacker. No. But here's Spags he uses these guys as like chess pieces. You talked about being aggressive. Spags is going to be aggressive till, from whistle to whistle, from gun to gun, whatever you want to call it. As long as the other team has the ball, he's getting after it. The zones are tighter. You talked about the zones are tighter in the back end. When they play man-to-man, they're with I am thoroughly impressed by this defense, and I think they're just going to continue to get better because they are so young. Nick mentioned it. They're the youngest defense in the league, and here they are as Super Bowl champs. You just don't see that. Yeah. And also the veteran leadership is not going to let the young guys get their heads too big, and every time you see them get in front of a mic, you just don't feel that. You don't feel like any flash or anybody's like out there playing for themselves, right? They all talk about the other guys. And when they go out to dinner on Thursdays, the defensive backs and all this time that they spend with one another, they're together. And I think this defense is just going to continue to get better.
I agree.
I think they're going to be the top at the end. At the end, when it's all said and done, I think they're going to be the top two, one of the top two defenses. And I like how they're using Chris Jones at the end. You know what I mean? And Chris Jones wasn't in there that much last, this game.
He didn't play the second half at all.
And they still was out there putting pressure on him. And I like how Mike Dana is coming out here playing defense. And it could be, like Terrell Perez said, it's contract year. Contract year is undefeated. God rest his soul. Contract year is undefeated. So, this is contract year. He's coming out here. He's fighting hard. He's playing hard, and he's looking like a different animal. Yeah. But again, the defense, and not just the D line, but Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie is out there making plays after plays after plays after plays after plays. Reid looking good at the safety. He's looking good out there with the tip pass. And Joshua Williams, again. If you don't have that many targets thrown at you, that means you're doing something right. So,
okay, sure you are, sir.
So with that said, I like Mike. Where the defense is going to take us, man, and also Snead is playing well too. This is contract year. Yeah, this is contract year. They're playing well too. So I would love to see the young guys, step it up a little more. Like Felix, I want to see him get more pressure. More. Get more around the ball more. But other than that, when it's all said and done, when Nick Bolton gets back healthy, Willie Gay's out there playing well too. So when Nick Bolton get back healthy and the defense all gelling together, watch out.
Wait till Charles Omenihu comes back after the 6-game suspension.
Yeah,
he is going to have a fire in his belly, and he's been really engaging on social media. It's been because that's the only thing he can do. He can't be at the team facility. Mm-hmm. He can only work out privately, but you add him and you get Terrell in the rotation on that defensive line, and then they don't have to overuse Chris Jones and keep him fresh. I mean, that defensive line is going to be pretty formidable. Give Omenihu maybe 3-4 games to get into it, but by December, he can go inside, he can go outside. They can play him and Jones off each other. They can line them next to each other. They can put them both on the end if they had to. That's going to make this defense really strong.
Real quick, Nick, I stated this about Specs a long time ago. Specs want a healthy rotation of guys to rush the passer. Thank you, Botas. Thank you. I appreciate your advice. I really don't take advice from William fans. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the Super Bowl which they went against Tom Brady, right? He had Tuck, Olsen Humanwide, Strahan. You know, you had a bunch of guys that was in rotation. That's what Spags want. When your defense line is healthy, you become more aggressive in a sense, right? Because you're not pertaining to one person. You're not relying on Chris Jones to get every pressure or to make every sack or again to make every play. Now you have a rotation of guys that can go out there and get busy, right? Because real quick, my Arizona Cardinals, right? This is what we do. We rotate a bunch of guys around, different flavors, different styles that's coming at the offensive line, so they don't know what's coming at them because everybody are different. Like they bring something different to the defense, and that's what Spags is. Spags got a healthy rotation of guys that bring something different to this defense. So, from what I'm seeing, like again, when the guy come back from San Francisco, right? Because I think highly of this guy. This guy gonna come in and do work. He's gonna come in and do great work. But again, you might see Kansas City might have the number one defense. They might have the number one defense this year with that addition. They might have it honestly because they're getting pressure at will. Remember, like I was telling Bowtie, pressure bust pipes. And these last couple of games, you've seen it, right? Just get pressure on the quarterbacks, make them throw off rhythm. They're gonna force a bunch of incomplete passes, right? The secondary are going to eat. They're going to eat, right? But again, to me, honestly, guys, the best defense to me, I like when Houston and Poe and Tamba Hali was playing because they made Marcus Peters better. Bowtie, Marcus Peters was only as good as that front. But again,
he was only as good till he punched out his defensive coordinator in the locker room.
Marcus has had issues pretty much since he was at Washington. So
you make a good point. Seriously, that defense, despite their defensive coordinator, was really, really strong. I mean, you had Derek Johnson, and listen, it should have been a lot better.
Yes,
it could have been a lot better. There were a lot of contract squabbles. Again, I think that's the most important thing about when we talk about this defense. And I'll kind of make this the last point. Is that they're all together. This is the best team that Andy Reid has had probably, I would say, in his career, from the way that he has got some elite players on offense, some elite players on defense. He's got a terrific special teams, which we don't even talk about with Tommy Townsend and Butker. And you look at the way this team interacts with each other. You look at how much fun they're having on the field. You look how hard they work. I mean, you can go around the NFL and you can just from highlights of watching film, just on some practices where guys aren't putting in the effort. They're not putting in the issue. I went through the whole off season, listening to all these Eagles fans complain about the Eagles. Well, you know what they didn't do during the Super Bowl week? They didn't practice that hard. They just figured, well, we'll just go out there and play physical. Andy has proven a point, and he worked those guys to the bone, pads every day, sweating, grinding, preparing them for every situation, and they won the football game. And that's what's happening now. I think they saw what happened last year, and all the celebration and all that stuff for the post Super Bowl was great, and all that. But when it was time to get back to business, they're all back to business. And I think the Lions game was, and the Jones situation and all that distraction was probably a good thing, because if there's any doubters over the last 2 weeks how this football team is going to operate itself and how close-knit they are, and you listen to all these interviews and all these players, they're all for one and one for all. And you can't say that in the Bears locker room. You can't say it in the Ravens locker room. You can't say it in the Bills locker room. You can't say it in the Bengals locker room. Now, they may preach it, but the Chiefs do it. And that's why this team is successful.
Well, tell it. I'll put it like this. Like he said, these defense, like Drake said, I won't go ball into it because he's trying to bring me in because he know I'm a big Marcus Peter fan, and I ain't trying to ball all into it. So what I'm saying is
he dropped a pick six last night there, Todd.
I know. I see that.
You see that?
Yeah, I see that. I was like, man, I knew when I was watching that game last night. I said, Marcus Peters gonna rip the ball out somehow, but it didn't happen. But I would have liked this. If Marcus Peters just did stay on track, and then that stayed like a hothead person, he would have been great with this defense. You know what I mean? He would have been excellent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about him giving the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? It'd been amazing. But again, I think back on the defense, I think the defense is going to be at the end of the year, they probably be up in the top 3 defense, maybe number 2. And also for you Bills fans that's in our chat right now, you know what I mean? We don't care about your hate. It's always going to be still Patrick Mahomes. You can say Josh Allen.
Very inconsistent. Josh Allen is very inconsistent, Mr. Hello.
Mr. Hello. Josh Allen is very inconsistent. So please keep your comments if it ain't about the Chiefs. But we always want to thank everybody for keep watching. Continue to follow us on Chiefs Blitz, ChiefsBlitz.com. Also, you can catch us on YouTube at Chiefs Blitz, where you can please go subscribe and share. Also, you can catch Nick at Nick Wright, where he be writing all the nice articles.
Nick Wright, I wish.
Whoa! Wow!
Chiefs Insider.
Nick and I are buds. Nick and I are buds. We're good.
He's the second biggest Nick in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Our guy's number 1.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Chiefs Insider, where you can catch all the articles. You can catch Lou, where he's at. He got a lot of stuff he got going on his page, and also you can catch Coach Dre and Andre Tillman and me myself at Bowtie Sports. But again, we want to continue to thank you guys for watching. Continue to share at Chiefs Blitz at YouTube. Anybody else got anything to say before we close?
Yeah, I do want to say one thing for all of our fans out there. Make sure on Saturdays they check out Bowtie's those guys' podcast. It's very entertaining. I was fortunate to be a guest a week and a half ago, or a couple weeks ago. It was a lot of fun. Every Saturday, 1:00 is that?
Yep, correct. 1:00.
Bowtie Sports. Check them out on YouTube. Check them out on Twitter. We'll be reposting it as well. But they do a great job. This is a family here, guys. We're all here to have a good time, talk Chiefs. I feel blessed and honored, and I want to thank you guys for a great show. We'll be back Wednesday and kind of talk about a few different things. And then Friday, we'll do our game preview. The Chiefs at the New York Jets.
One more thing, though. I did lie. I take this one to the chin. I said Kansas City was going to fall victim to the mighty Bears, and they didn't. They exceed my expectations. So the Chiefs, again, got my respect. So again,
31 points.
Okay, Nick, thank you. But again, my guys, the Chiefs proved me wrong, and I'm loving every bit of it. So again, Chiefs Kingdom, you got my respect.
Thanks, Charlie.
Hit him with the wrap-up music.
Appreciate that.